Live from the chicken wing capital of the world, Buffalo, New York. You're listening to the Childcare Bridge podcast, your source for the best tips, tools, and tactics on how to market and grow your childcare center, ensuring total domination. Total domination. This is the Childcare Bridge, and this is your host, Michael Tasner.
Hey there, and welcome to this week's edition of the Childcare Bridge. I've been getting a lot of questions around hiring. And it seems like with all these new enrollments, things are off to a little bit of a chaotic start. So over the next couple of weeks, I'm going to give you the framework for how we are able to hire, retain, keep, get their friends and family at a rate that is unlike anything that you've ever seen before. Now, the chances are high that over the last 12 months, you've had some retention issues with your staff. And it's one of those things that not only nipped in the butt, but permanently solved, it's going to continue to get worse. You will always be into firefighting mode. So in today's episode, what I wanted to do was talk through 4 of the biggest problems that you're facing, but then I want to start to paint that possibility on the other side of, if here's a problem and here's a possibility, like how do those look? Like what could life actually look like? And then over the next couple of weeks, I'm going to talk through everything step by step for you. So next week, what we'll do is we'll talk about the mindset shifts that you're going to have to make. And then we'll follow it up with, here's the step-by-step plan. So unless you have been in this space where you're paying your team a ridiculous amount of money, your culture is absolutely amazing, all the families are wonderful, you're going to have some challenges with hiring and retaining. But if I look at the overarching challenge, what is the number one problem? It's the generalized problem. It is very challenging right now to hire great staff. Now, great could take on different definitions, but hiring team members that you're actually excited about. So if we have the problem here of it is very hard and very expensive to hire great staff, on the other side, we've got the possibility that it's not necessarily overly hard, but rather we can find the people you're looking for. Like the people that you're looking for are out there. So if you're like, well, Michael, this problem I have, like no one's out there, I'm here to tell you that on the opposite side, the possibility is that there's actually a steady stream of candidates. And we have proven that to be true. Now, if I look through and start to say, okay, well, what are some of the other problems? But also, more importantly, what are the problems causing? That piece, I want you to pause and reflect on it. And as I start to talk through and share these problems with you, you're most likely experiencing all of these. But what you also most likely are doing is ignoring or not fully acknowledging the damage that these problems are causing, because they're astronomical. This has been the number one cause of centers closing their doors lately, going out of business, literally driving themselves into the ground has been staffing and hiring. So we've got the overarching problem of it's impossible to find great people right now. To hire them, okay, great, I've got it. Another problem is the money side. It's not only hard to find these people, but the money is hard to come up with. People are not looking for $12 an hour anymore. If they're able to go and make that kind of money at Chipotle or Starbucks and make more money, that's posing to be an issue for you. You're like, well, how do I actually afford these people? Let alone find them, I can't afford them. So there's your problem. I can't afford these A players, these great people. On the opposite side, the possibility is that with some tweaks to your business, there's plenty of money for you to raise how much you're paying your current staff and your future staffs. Now, again, what I'm trying to do here is I need to paint the picture for you that yes, you've got all these problems, But I need to tell you that there is solutions for every one of these and give you the possibility of what could life actually look like? What could your business look like? Now, if we look at that financial one, the issue of you then not making any changes to your current business, and let's say that you bump up all of your new hires. Let's say, just for simple math, you were paying $15 an hour. And all the new people, you're going to pay them $17 because you've done some research and you're like, Michael, I think that's that extra $2. I mean, that's $80 a week, for example. It's a few $100s a month. I think that's going to be a difference maker. Now, the problem that you then don't necessarily think about is all of the pain that's caused by that particular problem. If you raise it by $2 and you don't make any other tweaks, you're going to dig yourself into a deeper financial hole. And that's the type of hole that I'm lying in bed in. And I'm like, this is not good. This is a really bad situation. All of a sudden, you're not taking a salary, so you're not providing for your family. One of the main reasons you got into this business. Your current staff finds out how much you're paying new hires because they talk on lunch breaks and at the water cooler. And then all of a sudden, you've got a mutiny on your hand, and it literally spirals out of control. So that problem, I would argue, is among the biggest one we're going to talk about how you actually solve. And it's not just, okay, pay your current and your upcoming and new staff more, but we need to make sure that that financial ground is solid so that you can do that. But think about what that could cause. The other problem is you get these people, but they don't end up staying. Now, how does that look to the rest of your staff? How does that look to the parents? You introduce one of your teachers in one of the classrooms, and then a month later, he or she is gone. Now, they're out the door. What do you think your current staff is thinking? I've been in this exact situation. I've been in organizations, whether they're mine, other people, I've seen this firsthand. I literally have seen a business in the last couple of months that had this exact problem, and it was a laughing stock inside of their business. They literally called it, they had I can't remember the exact name, but the equivalent of a revolving door. You had tenured team that has been there for 10, 15, 20 years, and then you had new people that would come in, they would not jive, and then they're gone. They would then go on to Indeed, they would go on to Glassdoor, and they would start to leave 1-star reviews about what it's like to work there, which then just adds to everything else that you're experiencing. That particular area is the other one that really personally drives me into a really bad spot. I start questioning everything. Like, am I cut out for business? I suck at hiring. Like, where did I go wrong? Can I really do this? Should I just close the business down? And then I start stress eating. I start working myself more. I'm working 60, 70, 80 hours a week. So those problems do not help. They literally just continue to dig you a deeper and deeper and deeper hole. Now, well, I know that today we're talking a little bit more philosophical, but until I can get you to acknowledge the problems, and then again, I will match these up to some possibilities. We've already talked through one possibility. Until you can start to see it, and then next week, when you start to look at the mindset shifts you have to make, until you can get to that place where your mind starts to change because you can now see the possibilities that, hey, something has to change. I need to change the way that I'm operating. I need to follow a different path. I need to take different steps. Until that happens, you're going to continue to have all these problems, period. So we've talked through the overarching problem, can't find and hire good people. Second one, we talked about we don't have the money for these people. Third problem we talked about was when they do come in, they're not staying very long. So your retention issue. The final problem has to do with they come in, but they're not doing things by the book. They're not doing things like you would want. They maybe don't fully buy into your culture. They're not what you would consider an A player. You start to hire bodies because you have to meet ratios. Now think about what that one does. The mental side on my being, that one, it goes against everything that I teach, everything that I stand for, of surrounding yourself with amazing people that lift you up. How does that feel when you walk into your center and you literally want to make a V line somewhere else? I think it's called B-line. V-line, one of those two. To where you don't have to talk to either the director that you have there, or I'm not going to go by that classroom because I can't stand that teacher. We don't see eye to eye. That, coupled with everything else, the financial challenges, the challenges with people staying, like it throws me off to where then again, I get into overload with work. I throw myself at it, and I know a lot of center owners do the exact same thing. You think that putting in 60, 70, 80, 90-hour work weeks is going to help solve some of these problems. You then start stress eating, you start skipping activities with your family, your marriage gets thrown out of whack. Like I have been in this exact spot. And I can tell you that I have seen these exact same things happen with other centers, day after day after day. But there is some good news. So if we talk through, great, you're having a tough time hiring, problem. The possibility on the other side is that there are plenty of people that are looking for work. As the economy has gotten more and more challenging, I can tell you that the amount of people looking has went up exponentially. The second problem of there's just not enough money. Possibility in making some business shifts, you will be able to come up with the money. Now, the other thing as a small aside to that one that you have to really think about, we'll discuss it in depth more next week, but you need to start to see the numbers for the sake of the numbers. So not having that teacher, you're not able to bring in 5 other enrollments, 10 other enrollments, 6, what's the number? So you don't want to invest another $2 an hour, and that then results in you not being able to fill another classroom that maybe produces $6,000, $10,000 a month of revenue. You need to really look through those numbers. But the possibility is that with some business shifts, all the money will be there. Third problem, again, is they come, but they don't stay. So you got that problem on the complete other side of things. The possibility is that not only do they come and stay, they refer their friends, they refer their family, they sing your praises, they help drive you enrollments without being asked, they act as ambassadors to your brand. And that fourth problem of they come, but they're not a culture fit. Complete other side of the spectrum, the possibility is that you can hire and retain these A players. These people that want to be there, that want to take things off your plate, that want to see you and your center winning. These people are out there. But I needed you to be able to start to see, but I also, again, you need to start looking at how else are all of these problems negatively impacting you personally and your business. Not having the right staff, that's throwing off your revenue, that's hurting your growth. Maybe you wanted to acquire another location, but you don't have all the right staff or enough staff. So now your growth plans are being hindered. That then throws off your mindset. Now you're getting back into work mode, so now you're neglecting your personal and physical health. All of these problems, they stack and they start to take over your life. The good news is over the next 2 to 3 weeks, I'm going to present you the exact framework that we're using day in and day out at our centers, at my centers, to solve every one of those problems and get you to where you're on the other side with the possibilities. Tune in for next week for the continuation of our series on hiring. Michael Tasner signing off. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night. See you next week.